Hey there guys, it's Lee here. Hope you're all doing great today. So in this video I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the micro miner. So this product is a product that I've worked really hard on for the past few weeks and it's now live. It's now available for you guys. So I don't want this to be salesy or a pitch fest or anything like that, but I just want to give you guys an update, let you know that it is obviously available now. Just a quick run through of the features and benefits and how that can be beneficial for you guys. So if you guys have been following, I've done a few updates previously to this micro miner project. It kind of come about, someone mentioned about testing the device, a low cost, a low powered miner, which is based on this kind of hardware here. So it's a Raspberry Pi Zero. The hardware is freely available. The hardware is actually super easy to build and put together. The much more difficult part is the software, and that's really where I spent a lot of time over these past couple of weeks putting together that software, compiling the software, first of all finding it, then compiling it, then testing and benchmarking, and then refining it with scripts and getting the whole thing to make it a super easy product really for you guys to use. So I just want to run through a few of the details and kind of explain a little bit more about it to you. So here's a look at the kind of the final product. I'll put a better image on screen so you can see, but this is kind of what I've put together, which is a starter package. The reason why I've done that is because the device on its own, you need a couple of basics to kind of get up and running with it. The case and the heatsink is a nice kind of more for the aesthetics, makes it look a little bit better, but really you also need a micro HDMI adapter, a USB adapter, and of course the power lead and SD memory card and things like that. So I thought it was much better for me to offer it as a starter kit, which basically includes everything that you could possibly need. As well as a bare bones options for those other guys that are a bit more technical and kind of got these other kind of accessories. So there's two versions, a starter kit or a bare bones. So this miner, putting together all the software and putting everything on there, it kind of has three main mining programs, but they support a really wide range of algorithms. So you've got the Ethereum miner, obviously supports Ethereum. There's the Magicoin M7M miner, which supports Magicoin, and then you've got the CPU miner Multi. Now that miner is a CPU miner, but it supports a massive range of algorithms and therefore coins. So it actually supports up to 47 different algorithms, and you can mine them all using the micro miner. So it's got a really broad scope, this miner. You can use it on lots of different algorithms and lots of different coins. So that's really useful. Of course, you've got to consider that some of the other algorithms are ASIC mineable or GPU mineable, so you're not really going to get any benefits against those coins. But it's worth for you guys that want to test the different algorithms and different coins and all that sort of stuff. So it's really good for you guys to get up and running with. I've made a real effort to make it super simple to mine virtually any coin that you might want to. So as I've mentioned in previous videos on the updates, this little device here, it packs quite a lot of hardware in such a tiny form factor. It's literally in the palm of your hand, but it's an entire computer just in this device here. So it has a 1 gigahertz CPU, a 512 megs of RAM. This particular version, which is the version that's being produced and for sale, is a Wi-Fi version. There is a non-Wi-Fi version, but you then obviously had the difficulty of connecting it up. Whereas the Wi-Fi version, you can basically plug it in and run it anywhere in your home. It comes with a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and that's got all the miner software and all that sort of stuff, and that's true for both the starter kit and also the bare bones version. The mining software is really a lot more valuable and required rather than the hardware. The hardware is really easy to get, but the software and the way it's compiled is much more difficult. So that's really where the value is in putting that together for you guys. So the other thing that I want to talk about is the power usage of this device. When I tested it using, I've got a little multimeter, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's plugged in. So I was expecting, really low power anyway, but it was actually way lower than I expected. So this device, when it's plugged into a USB port, it will use less, and this is when it's mining at 100% power, it will use less than 1 watt of power. That's an incredibly low number. There's probably no other appliance in your house that uses that amount of power, maybe an alarm clock or something ridiculous like that. But for comparison, if you plug in your phone on charge in the wall, it will use around 6 watts. So this is using 5 times less than your phone on charge. So it's super low power. If you plug it into like a wall charger or a phone charger, it will use a little bit more, around about 1.5 watts. But you can basically you can plug it into any USB port and power it however you like. The other thing that I wanted to mention as well is one of the primary reasons for this was the hardware cost itself. I wanted to keep that super low, but also the running costs, I wanted to keep those low. Like I said, I expected the power cost to be low, but it's actually super low. So as an example, I've done some working out, and on my own sort of price for electricity, which is 16 cents per kilowatt hour, I think that's a fair sort of average. If you run it on that basis, this will cost you less than $2 to run for a year. You know, put that into comparison. What else can you run? And that's not, not a week or a month, but an entire year you can run this, and it will cost you less than $2 to run. So you can plug it into any USB port anywhere, let it run, and you can just basically forget about it, and it's going to be mined away all this time. So it's not going to be the fastest miner, but it's kind of like a set and forget it, and you can run it. It's not going to cost you a massive amount to run in the future, and that's like the primary benefits. So the other thing that I want to talk about as well, like I say, you can plug it into any USB port. You can also plug it into like a USB battery pack, or even like a solar panel or something like that. I'm going to be doing some more videos in the future where you can run this device from those alternate power sources, because it does use such a low power amount. You can run it off basically any USB port, any charger, solar panel, battery, all that sort of stuff. So it's quite useful, and also because it connects to your Wi-Fi as well, it means you can plug it in anywhere around your house and you can just let it run. There's no extra wires or cables or any complications like that. Just your USB cable once it's configured, and you can just power it from anywhere. Of course, if you did want to log into it remotely, you can do that. Or if you want to plug it into your monitor or screen, again, you can plug in the extra cables, and you can do that as well. So it's a very useful and featureful device, even though it's really small. So the other problem with general kind of miners, GPU miners or ASICs, whatever, is they make a crazy amount of noise and heat. This device, whether it's the bare bones version like this, hardware only, or the starter kit, it makes no sound at all. It's completely silent operation. There is no fans, no whirring, there's no coil whine or anything like that. It's just completely silent. The other thing is as well, it doesn't make virtually any heat at all. With the starter kit, it does come with a heatsink, but like I say, it's really more for looks than the additional cooling. Even when you run this at 100%, it doesn't get hot. The CPU doesn't throttle or anything like that during my testing. So you don't have to worry about it, burning your house down or heating up your room, anything like that at all. So that's another real big benefit. You can run it on your desk, and it's not going to, interfere with your work or anything else that you do. So the other thing the micro miner is really useful for is it's based on a Linux-based operating system. So it runs on Raspbian, which is a special version of Linux designed for ARM-based devices. So if you're interested in Linux and you want to get to learn a little Linux, a little bit on the command line, this is a great device for you to do that. So I've actually already created the starting guides. I've created a video and also a text form guide, and it's literally, you can go through and copy and paste it. There's a few lines of code, and it literally is just a couple of lines. I've made it super simple, and if you can copy and paste, you can start mining with this device. Going from that, because it is a Linux-based device, it will also, from my point of view, I think it's a really good introduction to Linux, and you guys can get started on the command line. So it's not only is it a mining device, I think really possibly one of the main advantages that it is a mini Linux computer. So you can learn, it's got a good educational value as well. Okay, so finally, just before we sort of wrap up here, for those guys that are sort of considering getting one, and maybe you're on the fence or not too sure whether it's worth the money or the value, or whether you're really going to be getting the gains from it. Like I said, this is a tiny little micro miner, and the performance is reflective of also the power usage and that silent operation. But it's also an educational tool, and that's really what I kind of want to put out there. The other thing is, for any of you guys that are considering sort of buying one, or you do want to buy one, consider that this is a project that I've worked really quite hard on, put together myself, and it's really for the benefit of you guys, but likewise it can also, the benefit returns back to me as well. So I don't really want to be, selling t-shirts and merchandise and things like that. Maybe a bit down the line if I get a brand or something going. But really the point that I'm getting at is that you guys can, pick one of these up, and it really helps support the iMineBox channel, and that, and me personally as well. The time and effort that I've really spent on this product, I'm never going to get that back in, from a financial or monetary sense, and it has taken a crazy amount of hours. So, you know, for you guys, if you do want to support me personally on the YouTube channel, this is a great way for you guys to support me, but also get something back for yourself. And I think you're really getting, you know, quite good value back, but supporting me at the same time, which I really do appreciate. You know, separate from that, if you don't want to sort of pick one up, then, you know, maybe just give this video a like or share it with your friends, or, you know, someone else that might appreciate the hardware and might want to get set up with it. One other last point, I promise, because I know this video has gone on quite a long time already, and I did want it to be short. But the payment options, you can of course pay with PayPal or credit card, but you can also pay with a range of cryptocurrencies. So I've included all the top ones, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and there's about 9 other different top cryptocurrencies that you can pay with. So if you want to pay and you don't want to pay using a card or PayPal or whatever, you can pay if you've got some crypto as well. Because obviously, you know, that's ultimately what this is all about, you know, building that crypto ecosystem. Okay guys, so thank you so much for your patience, I really do appreciate it. If you want to find out more details, the benchmarking specs and all that sort of stuff, you can go and visit my website, which is iMineBlocks.com/micro-miner, and that will take you there. Of course, I'll put a link in the description. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. Any questions or comments, put those down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Alright, thanks for your time. Have a good day. Bye bye.